I got to know about KCSAP project because I was involved in the initial stages of this project in community mobilization. I was also involved in the activities of flagging opportunities in the priority value chains of Laikipia County. I was also involved in interviewing those who are concerned with the service providers and other activities in this project initiation. My research in this place, as you can be able to see, is a dry, semi-arid and arid area, whereby water for production is an issue. And this has been exacerbated by the fact that the issues of climate change and the farming practices that degrade on soil. So my study, which utilized the funds that I was given by KCSAP, was on evaluating farming systems and determine their effects on soil properties. Soil properties that the current research or the findings that I have is majorly on soil physical properties that involve soil moisture, soil bark density, and also soil carbon, organic carbon. These are very important in this area because productivity of the soil in this area depends majorly on moisture, on water, and also its condition must be preserved as much as possible to be able to preserve that water. What I did in my research on my study, first I had to identify or sample the farmers because I actually did more of convenient sampling because I wanted farmers who had been trained on conservation agriculture, who have knowledge and practice in conservation agriculture, and are also at the same time having sections of conventional farming in their own farms. That way I could be able to reduce variation in the findings. So I also thought the findings that I got will contribute to the KCSAP development project because though those properties that I'm looking into are involved in productivity, they are also directly related to issues of reducing greenhouse gases emission because of the carbon sequestration, and also because they are also improving on productivity. That is addressing the project development objective. So some of those findings I was able to realize that conservation agriculture contributes very much to moisture conservation because I found that the results of the farms that have conservation agriculture had significantly higher levels of moisture and organic carbon. However, I found that the bark density was higher than in the conventional farming. So, because I was able to identify later on, or as a proposal after the findings, that there could be a way of improving the bark density, but the issues of carbon sequestration from the organic carbon levels, they were higher and the moisture was also higher. On the side of the bark density can be improved by, strictly adhering on the 3 principles of conservation agriculture. It is possible to improve on that. So on all levels, the finding shows clearly that conservation agriculture contributes positively or significantly to improvement of soil moisture, organic carbon, and also soil work density. And because in conservation agriculture, farmers use minimum tillage of the soil, they have specific tools and implements that they use to make sure that they disturb the soil as minimum as possible. They also use the residue from the crops, okay? But because in my study I realized also the use of crop residue is a challenge in this place, because you can see it's a dry place. And these residues are in competition between the use in the farm and the use for livestock. So in this case, we realize the use of farmers are now turning to use leaves from Grevillea robusta, which is common here. It's very common, and it's common being used in the farm, as you can see, as a agroforestry tree. So I was able to realize that these practices can be able to improve those soil physical properties. And these physical properties are actually directly related to productivity. Out of 120 farmers, I was able to apply, specific criteria to be able to further sample that of them. And what I looked in these farmers was first thing, these farmers had adopted CA in their farms. I also looked at these farmers had received some training in conservation agriculture. And also, these farmers has continued to adopt CA even almost 15 years after the introduction of CA in Laikipia. So I looked at the commitment of the farmer in adoption of CA. I also looked at their capacity in terms of their training, but still out of the findings we'll also be able to identify gaps in the capacity. The comparison was between the CA and the conventional farming. The control I used was until land, virgin land. I was collecting samples of soil from land that had not been cultivated for the last 3 years, at least 3 years. It was about 6 seasons. And also, the evaluation, I didn't mention this, the moisture determination was, the samples that I collected was not on one season. There were 4 seasons, 2019 and 2020. 2 rainfall seasons, long and short rainfall. So the data was spread for 4 rainfall seasons. And it was representative and reflective of the condition of the soil moisture variations in the findings. First of all, I want to appreciate what KCSAP has done for the time that it has been in operation, especially in supporting or in realizing component 2 of its project components, which is actually support or enhance climate smart agriculture research. So I want to thank them because they have done very well. And I appreciate, if it were not for the support that KCSAP gave me and provided me with the research funds, I wouldn't have been able to reach this far. So I want to thank KCSAP for that. And I also want to say that KCSAP can continue, supporting research in different ways and different capacities. And I'm sure farmers, if you go and even interview the different farmers where I did this study, they will be able to tell you that they have been able to realize and to get the benefits. They all know what KCSAP has been able to achieve, and they can tell you that KCSAP project has benefited them in increasing knowledge and skills and climate smart agriculture technologies. I have already done my analysis. This is the first objective. I still have 2 more, but I'm sure after the findings, I'll be able to discover more and newer things from this, because there is also an objective that I am looking at microbial population in those soils. I'm also looking in the chemical properties, analyzing different elements, and I'm sure at the completion of this study, I will be able actually to discover more issues that can be able to be used to improve climate smart agriculture farming or technologies.